Good morning. Obviously, I'm Chef Ernest, and I'm from Hind, and we're going to talk about food. Food, glorious food, as I say. This is the season of food, and obviously, I think we all get excited at the beginning of Thanksgiving for one reason. For the next month and a half to 2 months, we'll be gluttonous all the way up to our gills with food. We'll be in a coma with food, but we'll be happy. And why are we happy? Because we're with family. And family creates memories. I want everyone to close their eyes and think of your all-time favorite Thanksgiving memory that you have. What is the smell that you're smelling right now? Is it the turkey? Is it the stuffing? Or is it the pumpkin pies or the pecan pies or that famous Uncle Rudy's smoked turkey? Now, what do you hear? Is it your uncles talking about how the Cowboys are going to win this year while your other uncles say, no, they're not? Is it going to be the year of your grandmother giving orders to your aunts while they're trying to gossip about other things and tell them to stay focused because we only have 2 more minutes before we have to serve everybody? But all in all, what is happening this whole time? We're all together. We're all there in happiness. And who's happier? Your grandparents and your mothers and your fathers, because they get to hang out with their brothers and sisters and their nieces and nephews that they're not used to seeing until this one time every year. And it's good times. And when you break for bread, now you give the prayer and you see your grandma beaming because she's happy that all her family's there. Now that's just Thanksgiving, but I know in other households, many of the times it could be a Sunday on a regular March day that we get together. So, in other words, food always brings us together as a family, as in faith. After church, we go and have this. So I always think when I think of Thanksgiving as a time that, says we give thanks and we appreciate everything that God has given us. But if we think about and we go back where Thanksgiving came from, it was really a celebration created by hardship from the Pilgrims. It reminds us how impoverished the Pilgrims were when all the many loved ones that they lost, but even all through these hardships, these were people set aside their day, just one day, to give thanks to the Lord for what they have and what the blessings they've given them through hardship. And that kind of goes into our life lessons. We've been given ups and downs in our lives, but we always give thanks. And that's always reminds me of my grandmother. She always believed that whenever family got together, it was a time to give thanks. And she's one of the most energetic ladies that you'll ever meet, as well as my role model. It's a chance to come around the table and pray and give thanks to whatever it was. It could be a couple of bologna sandwiches, or it could be a nice meal. Or in our house, we would do a lot of barbecue. But at the end of the day, we give thanks because of what the blessings we've given us and having the family there too. I remember, my grandma used to always tell us that when she was little, we were very poor, and they never had anything really to give in life, but the one thing they did was the mother, which is my great-grandmother, used to always put a lot of emphasis in the food because that was the only way to show love. It could be simple potatoes and rice and beans, but it was a time where the family got together and they were very appreciative of what they had. So that's the meaning of Thanksgiving to me, and it's not just this coming week, but as well as everyday lives that we use our faith and we believe in God. Faith and food really go hand in hand and are inextricably linked into human experience and belief. This includes the act of eating as well as natural cycles of planting and harvest. One reason of the obvious importance of the nourishment of life. Food is so essential that the activities involved in obtaining, preparing, and enjoying it are closely related to basic human concerns. Happiness and sadness, the want of plenty, life and death. Even God it's not surprising that food is deep and symbolic, as well as physical meanings that food rituals, as well as food referred to in the Bible. The Bible provides a broad range of perspectives on the relationship of faith and food. These ranges from everyday eating and drinking to food as divine and grace, and they are often interrelated in literal and symbolic ways. There's so many verses and there's so many stories in the Bible that talk about food. One of my favorite is when Jesus feeds 5,000 people with 5 loaves and 2 fish. It's awesome. to hear so many great stories in the Bible about food. But I always enjoy food as well. And the one thing that we've always passed in our family is, the saying, the family that prays together stays together. Same thing in our family. The family that cooks together flourishes. So we always have fun when it comes to cooking. And obviously, I love to cook, and I try to bring that to Hein as well. I believe that it's not my job to feed y'all, even though they pay me for that. It's my job to be part of y'all's family too for the 4 years that you're on there, or the 2 years that you eat there. And I want to make sure that your meals are just created as much as I would feed my family, or if my grandmother, I always say, every meal I cook, I have to get it approved by my grandma. So if she ever pops up, I want to make sure the food is just as good. There's ways of showing your emotion and showing ways of thanking y'all. And that's the way we do it at Hein. I always cook, and I thank y'all for going every day over there. And I try to do that in my food. If I can't say hi to y'all, I'll thank y'all by trying to cook the best meal I can for y'all. Also, when it comes to stories, I have a little story to tell you on Thanksgiving. One year, we were on our way to Dallas, and my dad's just the same weather we had, but it was actually ice. And I was in the 6th grade, and our transmission broke down in the middle between Waxahachie and Dallas. And it was the day before Thanksgiving, and we knew we couldn't get a tow truck or anything was open, so we had to tell our aunts, we won't be able to come. We're going to have to stay in a hotel. Well, we were all bummed because, of course, we couldn't have Thanksgiving, and we couldn't have turkey. And, as a young kid, you kind of complain, and you throw tantrums that we can't have the Aunt Lucy's pecan pie, or we can't have this. But my grandma was with us, and we had a very wonderful Thanksgiving at Whataburger. And when we went around, we did the same traditions that we would do. We got all up, and I don't know what I ordered, probably a double cheeseburger or something like that. That was the only thing open. But at the end of the day, we all sat down as a family. And as we sat down as a family and we gave thanks of what we had, not for what was, we could have complained about the transmission, and we could have complained that we were out there in freezing weather. But at the end of the day, we were together as a family. Even though we ate chicken nuggets or chicken tenders as well as cheeseburgers, my grandma always saw the light at the end of the tunnel and said, it doesn't matter what we eat, but as long as we're together on Thanksgiving to give thanks and praise, we'll always be happy. And I go and I leave to y'all today that Thanksgiving is a great time. Take a moment and stop and think about all that we have to be grateful for and give thanks. Thank y'all.